Hey guys, you will not believe this. This changed again. Now it's the Yatagarasu shadow. What do you know? That's crazy. Anyway, welcome back everyone to Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Today, we are going to finish the first game. It's all leading to this. Then once this game is out of the way, we can finally move on to the second one. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. I am most mega excited. PF David sounds excited too because you were first. And Hedgewolf is here too. What's up? How's everyone doing today? Are you all ready for the finale, the finale of game number 1? So remind me, who do you all think did it again? Okay, now let's first go over the facts one more time. You all think that, where is he? That this guy did it, right? Colias Paleno? Think it's that lad? We'll see. We'll see, guys. Right now, Lang there said that Franziska's the bad guy here. The murderer. But that's silly. It's not Franziska. There's no way. That's just crazy. Crazy talk. Absolute craziness. But yeah, how's everyone doing? How are you, Hedgewolf and PF David? Y'all doing good? Excuse me. No hiccups today, okay? Manny Cochin's body was found over in the Secretariat office in Babel. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabest's ornamental knives. And then the body of Damas II, Mr. Kashino, was found here in the Alabestian ambassador's office. I'm good, how are you? Just David is fine? Right. Sometimes I just gotta, but sometimes I just need to. You know what I mean? But yes, it's good to see you all. My day's been good. I've been hyped about this stream for a long time now, and it's finally happening. Through our investigations, we found that the murder weapon was this Primaduck statue. And this is actually Babel's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying? Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so, while people were distracted by the Yatagarasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire. Even if all of that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons? Don't worry. I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that, too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With the kind of free reign, you could easily take in the weapons across country lines. Hey now. Look, sis. I thought I already told you. I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Shinak certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. He is right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Grrr. Let's just get this ridiculous circus over with already. Franziska, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alabestian side of the case. I don't believe you. You can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I am taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But you came up with anything else that can top my hypothesis, or can you? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Of course, and I will. Let's now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damas II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. You can't figure out how the murder of Damas II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started. Yes, let's. Do you still think it's that Paleno guy, guys? Do you still think it's that dude? Let me know, alright? One of Alabest's knives was used in Babel to murder Mr. Cochin, and the murder weapon is the killing of Damas II, is Babel's Primadux statue. Oh yes, you think so? Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crime was you. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Franziska will remain a suspect. You got it, Mr. Prosecutor, so why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've worked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Lang, what I learned from you is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Zi never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor, who do you think you are speaking about Lang Zi's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you will need to see the truth. So, guess what, guys? No. Yes. Penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. Well, guess what?
Objection!
Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? Damas II was killed with Babel's Primadux statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabest's Primadux statue go? To Babel. Precisely, and if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies. I guess so, but you know what? Doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabest and Babel is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person, one who paid a visit to both sides of the wall.
Objection!
Is that really so, Agent Lang? What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guard said, and along with the security camera's footage, you're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
Objection!
But suppose there was some other way, other than through the theater doors. What other way? The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I pointed out, it would open up a whole new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. It looks like you've got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. We can look. Music's a little quiet again. As it likes to be. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries. It is none other than the photo of Yatagarasu!
Take that!
Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again, it's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. Narg. But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well, you will have your explanation. It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trail shadow is none other than this statue.
Take that!
Yeah. Alright, give me a second. Okay. Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the Primaduck statue replica. You can't be serious. The Yatagarasu, or rather Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Shina, was inside Babel. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Ha, Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air? Ha, and how exactly did she do that? He's going crazy. He is literally baring his fangs at me, but he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? So just before the murder, Franziska was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma has been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her, and for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Ha, do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you? As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too. I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear it from you. Franziska, I feel like I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright, so, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like for you to please testify to your movements up until you came into this room. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl, "No!" Huh. As you wish. Alright, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna check something real quick. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. This guy is intense. Oh yeah. He has to be intense. We're near the end. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabestian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way toward the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security station. And after all that preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. Okay. Let's do that. No. Yes.
Hold it!
At this time, Demas's 2 body is yet to be found in this room, is that correct? Oh, that's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants. Oh, I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Grr. Alright then, add that statement to your testimony, and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side, however. The window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him, but fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself, and is growing them with the utmost care, you know? Yes, the plants in this room, they are all like my children. The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. Miss Von Karma, what did you just say? Now? I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom on the flower box. Yeah, guys, there's a problem with that statement. How many passion flowers do you see in this picture? Do you see 4 of them?
Objection!
Franziska, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way. Ha, I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing? What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this? Yes, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir. Eeg! All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And as for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? At the very least, it is a contradiction of this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Ha! Let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does this number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we went to examine the flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care, so I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Yeah, there's definitely 2 of them, guys. Right? The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well, and are well supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You really realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Arg, Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already! I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? I'm going to show evidence. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight, but I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. The hair sticks, remember?
Take that!
Sheena, who was supposedly in Babel the entire time, had these hair sticks on her. Welcome back, Edgewolf. You're just in time. I think we're about to find, who the real killer is. Are you ready? That looked exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers. Heh, and so what? Is this really all that important to the case? It's go time, it is. Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between countries tonight. Ayah! Think about it logically, Ancient Lang. These sticks were originally in Elabest, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babel the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue. Arrgh! Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babel. How did these support sticks find their way to Babel and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Ah, so that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. Just another stick, isn't it? And so, it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For what they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is... It is none other than... the tree with the weird nose. No, just kidding. It's the crossbow. That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not really suggesting... I am. These hair sticks, or rather, plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows. Yeah! I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread is yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. Alright, here we go. So Babel's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here. Even if you fire the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to him. I don't think I need to tell you that the Primaduck statue didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? You're a realist, aren't you? Objection! Does it sprout wings? Of course they didn't. Do they really make perfect arrows? They make something, I'll say that much. They sure make something. Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Primaduck statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. So Babel's statue was dropped in the Yatagarasu's clothes, and they did the thing. But if you fire the arrows in the side, they want to go with a statue tied to them.
Hold it!
But we are in agreement that the arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct? But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing. No, that's not necessarily true. What? What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions. It's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statue themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. It wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, and what did the crossbow launch? How about, instead of statues, how about the wire? Duh.
Objection!
Finally, we have reached this point in our discussion, for I present to you that which was carried by this arrow from the crossbow. Heh, I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Kochin's office. All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabestian Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babylese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, I can see how Alabast's Primaduck statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babylese's Primaduck statue? The dark shadow in this photo is clearly flying away from Babel. Going in the opposite way of gravity from the 3rd floor of the Babelese embassy up to the 5th floor of the Alabestian embassy. How do you explain that? Aha, I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick work. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head. Motion? What motion? This motion that was employed to smuggle Babel's Primaduck statue. It was... bungee cords! Ah! No, it's rotary motion. I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the two statues were transported simultaneously... Simultaneously? Get real. The statues would collide somewhere along the way. Did I ever say that there were only one line of wire between the two offices? If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed. Lang Zi says, don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability. Give me a second. Okay. Taking into account the tension but difference between the two wires, the top one would sag too much to the point where the statues would collide anyway. Agent Lang. As you know, the Primaduck statue was a one-of-a-kind national treasure, and the fact that Babel's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible. Lang Zi says, Howl! Here is what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in the two different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to Babel, which it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock, QED. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Grr! This proves it, right, Agent Lang? That I'm not the killer? Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? The proof is in the pudding, as it were. A pudding is a nice dessert. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain sewing back home with me as a souvenir. I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence. One more? This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor. The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire, I believe it is right here in this very room. Now then, I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible. Maybe the fan?
Take that!
Ha! Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again. The last piece to the trick are the two pulleys. Precisely, the ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case, and thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley to set for the wire to run on. Arrgh! This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypass the impenetrable security. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Grr, you really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know who the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show is, don't you? The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had the foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabestian and Babelese offices, and that passion flower support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case... Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food. Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, then why don't you present something that like you always do? A single point of the finger here, and this case will explode into an international incident. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now, but to rush in. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. So guys, this is it. Do you have your final answers on who the murderer is? Do you all still think it's this guy here? Because right now, right as I pronounce this evidence, we're gonna find out who is the murderer. While I wait for an answer, yes, you think it's that guy? Alrighty. Oh yeah, water tastes good right now. Alright, you think it's this guy, David? I think Hedge will think so too. I'm going to present our friends, the passion flowers.
Take that!
The smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. He seems guilty. The happy guy, he's too happy. Without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had time to grow so big. Bet Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited this room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both offices had ceiling fans tells us that the person had very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus Alba. Well, well, well. Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth? I'm certain of what I'm saying, and I'm sure that he is the culprit. Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that? I understand your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd. Just one thing, huh? One single end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. We were to examine the focus of this complex trick. I believe we will finally find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. How about this?
Take that!
I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation had been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primaduck statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primaduck himself? I see. Ambassador will be examining that statue now, with or without your permission. Okay. There's the handprint. What about the head? This guy kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador. Suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. Looks like a gap. Hey, you're right. Maybe it's meant to be some kind of a secret. Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction. What? Hurry up and open it, Miles. Alright, here goes. Oh. What do we have here? Wow, it really did open up. Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. What could this thing be, guys? What in the... is this? Hey, is this what I think it is? It's a plate for making counterfeit bills. Somehow, it appears that we've at long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabas to begin with. Ho ho ho! The Primaduck statue can only be handled by the ambassador or the Secretariat, and the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena, The ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damas II. Surprised by the theft, the ambassador raised the replica statue as Damas II and then ordered to frame the steel samurai of the murder. He covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? You're the leader of the smuggling ring? My country is a mess, and it's all because of you? You're the one who killed Damas II? Answer us. I never thought that you would figure things out to this level. However, there is only one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin. I guess this is my voice now. Okay. Quit screwing around. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. If there's one thing I am sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Quercus Alba. I'll go back to his normal voice. I forgot what it was for a second. It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Lang. Subjectivity? My conclusion is anything but, and it's the result of logic and investigation. Logic and investigation? Only seconds ago you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you? Heh. Heh, heh, heh. It looks like you still don't get why I came back. Excuse me? You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you. What? Agent Lang, I demand an explanation. Sorry, sis, I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning. You did? I knew that this whole incident has been meticulously planned and prepared for. Which Pokemon is your favorite, Ultima? That would be the Charmander family. That is my favorites. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. But without the Ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around. Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Franziska of the murder? Using Franziska as the bait, you were able to gain us entry and investigative rights. Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the Ambassador would have given the okay to poke around. So that's what all this was about. Very well, I will forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth. Agent Lang, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow if we were to able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. The evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? Tch, I don't know about all that. The one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him. Ho ho, you're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me. Agent Lang, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection!
Give me a second. Okay, don't be such a sore loser. If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity. Hey, Star! How you doing today? Welcome back, it's good to see ya. Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence. Grrr. I tell you, I knew nothing, really. I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue. How about me? I'm doing good. We probably found the smuggling leader, Stars. We found him, at last. You swapped a real statue and that vested in your country the authority to rule for a fake. Doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything. It doesn't make sense? Where does it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense? Gurk! He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us. Gasp. I know, right? We found him. And Star, you're looking at him right now. Not him, the other guy, the old guy. The proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. We can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing I can use to break this case wide open? The trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from the case from that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. And the tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what, a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence. Needless to say, we Von Karmas are commended to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. I no longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma. He was laughing just now because he was literally ready to say, "It was Edgeworth?" I know you. I know your tricks. Or my own tricks. I don't know. No, shockingly, it's not Edgeworth. And I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality. And if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? I do! That choice is one I must make by my own hand, here and now. I'm gonna do the Alright, it's not actually telling me. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to use the trump card. There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law, too, crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this. Oh, I wondered what that card is. I've never seen it. I've never seen that. I've never seen that card before in my life. I use potato? I use the potato to convict him. Of course. It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates. Oh, is that what it is? This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG8 incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession? Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense, and let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains directions from the ringleader? I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given. What? This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG8 incident. The KG8 incident? The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate. Oh, very interesting. I must admit I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence you've presented. The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man, who has had free reign for 10 long years, to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. Hey, Terry Teresa, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? You're just in time for some crazy stuff involving this game. But yeah, it's going good. All is well here. How are you? So, what is this interesting thing that you wanted to show me? The trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence together make for the ultimate hand. You're doing great. Just done a project. Ooh, what you working on? What kind of project? Headed to chill here. Well, welcome on in. Hope you enjoy my commentary, my storytelling commentary. I'll do the best I can. And this is where the real meaning behind Detective Bad's words will be realized. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Animated emotes. That's pretty cool. Make some good ones, alright? Give the animated emotes somehow. Actually, that doesn't make sense. But do them well. You're a digital artist and an animator, and you're really enjoying it. That's good. That is good. When you see here is the security footage shot just before the KG-8 murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a directives card from the smuggling ring. This is the secret that proves that the card was used to relay an order. Apparently we gotta present the card.
Take that!
As you can see, Mr. Cochin is holding the card in his right hand. Can you have Discord? Exclamation point Discord. If anyone wants to do that in chat, then you can see, or then you can do the thing that you want to do. Holding the card in his right hand. I see. I see. The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. Yeah, there you go. But that card and the one you have, just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are, does it now? Ah, but there is a very easy way for me to prove that they are, in fact, one and the same. All we have to do is simply take a look at this. Okay. We have to look at... the blood? This dark red blood. Yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in the terrible tragedy. The blood belonged to the victim of the KG-8 incident. With a bit of DNA testing, we can very easily verify that as fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. This car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building. It's an official Kodopian government car. Accept it. You can share your work. I will after the stream, my friend. For now, enjoy the show, the epic show. Then afterwards, I can click the accept thingy. What? Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. This area of the footage directly links to the smuggling ring with Kodopia. I see a thing, guys. I see a little badge over here. Do you see the badge? 'Cause I see it.
Take that!
This section will make it clear to us. Okay. Did I do it wrong? I think I did it wrong, maybe. Oh, yeah, I got out of order. Ow! I took damage! Okay, yeah. It's this. It's this and then the other one.
Take that!
The shape of this pocket and the directives card in it, it tells us that without a doubt this person in the car is Mr. Cochin. Grr. The license plate on that car was also captured by a security camera, and with it we can easily find out who was sitting in the car on that day, 10 years ago. Grr. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this car on that day. Ha. Oh dear. You've done well, boy, to make it this far. However, about your claim that I was riding in the car at the time, that's going to be mighty difficult to prove. How so? The Principality of Kodopia no longer exists, so naturally all records from that time period also no longer exist. Arrogance. What he really means is that he's already erased all traces of them. Are we finished here, boy? The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. There must be something here that I can use against him. Okay, now I can do the medal.
Take that!
What the? Ambassador Alba? Yes, what is it? You were once an army man in the service of Codopia, and it was you who made that many missions you participated in successes, correct? Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, the brilliant medals on my breast were awarded to me during the era of Codopia, but now I am the only one who owns this particular medal. In that case, the only person it could be who is sitting in this car is you. How do you figure that? By the medal captured here in this footage. It is clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest. What? What? What do you think of Alba's transformation, guys? Look at him now. He's all standing up straight, looking serious as heck. This is how it will be, but I won't hold back, for this is the path that I have chosen. Yeah, that was a big change, as the Ace Attorney series loves to do. Grr. You moved me with your devotion to this case, Mr. Edgeworth. Looking good? Looking good. Why is he taking such an arrogant stance with me? It's almost looking possible, isn't it, for the lot of you to have come this far. It looks like I just might lose our little game this time. You might lose the game this time? You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador. Is that a fact? Very well. I've decided to confess and admit my guilt. You're going to confess? And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result. What the? Regarding the DMAS-2 murder, I admit it. I did it out of self-defense. You're claiming it was justified self-defense? DMAS-2's attacked me, and I felt that my life was in danger. If I hadn't done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him. Why is he hunched? Not good for his back? Good question. Maybe hiding his true form. That of this nature. Ha 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 ha. What a pathetic performance. Ha 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 ha. I'm not giving you one. Wow, you two really know how to laugh at inappropriate times. If you wish to claim it was justified self-defense, then we will need some evidence. It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you require, I'll provide it. That man left a mark on me when he attacked. What? I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof that it was in self-defense. I'm an old man, and sometimes I don't pay enough attention when I should. But DMAS-2 didn't have a single weapon on his body. Hold on, it's nothing to get worked up over because I hid the weapon. You hid it? I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it's in self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. This is the weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears. Oh, it's covered in blood. He was trembling quite badly during our struggle, but that's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting in my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense. Is he right, Mr. Edgeworth? Since he has both the wound and the weapon that caused it, it's enough to declare it so. Welp, fudge. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Wound is jotted down. No way! Oh, which reminds me, I guess there's still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all of that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on. Stop spewing nonsense. You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus in your desperation. If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you. The murder of DMAS-2 was done in self-defense? In my trials, no man escapes his crime alive. Perhaps so, if you were my opponent in court. However, there is one very important fact that I think you may have forgotten. And what is that? Arg, that's what you mean. Extraterrestrial That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Alabastian soil. So any trial that is to be held within be held in Alabast. Therefore, the crime I just admitted to will never be tried in your courts. Ancient Lane, what is Interbol's stance on this? Agents investigate, that's our job. The judgment of people who have confessed to their crime, that's the court's job. Gert! And I've already confessed to all of my crimes, Agent Lang. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterrestrial rights. Hey, Mafia! It's okay. Sadly, Mafia, you missed the big reveal of who the real murderer is. As you can see, Mafia, Ambassador Alba looks a little bit different compared to when you last saw him. And that's because it's him. I think the other ambassador is still suspicious. Oh, he is the real murderer, the other ambassador still. I have full alien rights. These rights are effective even on your country's soil. Therefore, no matter where a crime may take place, I will never stand trial in one of your courts. That arrogance and your expression, that's nothing like the face of someone who is ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system eating right out of your hands. These crimes you all speak so seriously of. To me, this has all been nothing more than a game. You may chase me out of this embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Alabes has numerous other embassies in other countries around the world. All you would accomplish is that you would change the backdrop of our little game. These 2 layers of protection that extraterrestrial provides him. This is why he is one of those who cannot be brought to court. You see now, don't you? I live in a whole different world than you. I just got home from ice skating with family. You were ice skating instead of being here? You were ice skating with your family and having a good time instead of watching some idiot stream Ace Attorney investigations? How dare you! Anyway, I hope you had a good time, Mafia. I hope it was an amazing, awesome time. And I hope you didn't fall on the ice. My mom did that once and broke her wrist. It stunk. But welcome back. Good to see you here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and fetch your eviction papers. It was fun. That's good. Glad you had a good time. Oh, is there nothing we can do? The end. Thanks for coming, guys. It was fun. That's the end of the game. That is the end of the game. 135. Mafia, you crazy. You are absolutely insane, you know that? I can't believe it, sir. Extraterrestrial. Yes, and there is nothing we can really do about that. In the end, we really didn't have enough authority to bring him to justice. I can't believe that even though we know he's the boss, we can't lay a finger on him. I know. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sorry to skip out on you, but I've got some business to take care of. We can't even give an evil guy like him a slap on the wrist. Then what the heck were laws created for? What good are they? If the law can't help us, then I'll go as the Yatagarasu and take care of this myself. Don't you dare. Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry, that was a bit too harsh. I know how you feel, sir. We're trying to take on an ambassador, after all. And he did tell us earlier to get out of the theater. This is kind of their country, I guess. But I feel like I've been slapped across the face for just doing my job. What am I going to do? Should I retreat for now and formulate a better plan of that attack? Come on, everyone, we can't give up yet. Okay. I want you to think about something for a sec. We never let up for even a second, and as long as we don't stop investigating, we might find the rotten treasure hidden here. She's right. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. You're right, Kay. Very well, let us reopen the investigation and see what we find. Come on, Kay. Right behind you. Okay, then I'll go check on the Babel a bit more, sir. And I have something that I need to investigate further in Alabest. Now then, before I gather any more information, I should do a bit of housekeeping. Passion Flowers data erased from my organizer. Alright, Ambassador Alba seemed agitated over something. I wonder why. There are two special circumstances that surround the ambassador. First, the embassy itself has extraterritorial rights. If something happened on Alabestian soil, we are unable to legally prosecute him. Cool. Sounds like embassies are the perfect place to steal whatever you want. And Murder Damas too run a smuggling operation and make counterfeit bills, apparently. But I thought all the counterfeiting was done by Mr. Cochin in Babel. Yes, he apparently used the embassy's coupon printing press to do it. But it's the same story over there anyway. Babel also has extraterritorial rights. Which brings me to my next point, the ambassador's extraterritorial rights. Those rights are effective even in our own country. Really? No matter what happens, he can never be tried in our courts. He retains some very special rights indeed. Basically, no matter what wrongs he may commit, we can't bring him to trial here. So I guess we really don't stand a chance, do we? We might stand a chance if we can somehow nullify either one of his special rights. Okay. Well... give me a second. Renovations. Cochin's counterfeit thing. We know that the counterfeit bills were printed using the embassy's press, but the necessary material, such as the Babelese ink and paper, must have been hidden in a secure location. But what do you think would have happened if the renovation had begun? Well, he probably had to find a better hiding place or get rid of it all. Right, so we can assume that the renovation was the cause of the plate and Bill's disposal, and the reason Mr. Cochin was killed as the ringleader of the smuggling operation. Based on what we know, who do you think was the one with the most to gain? It was... Quercus Abba! It's the one person who has been erasing all evidence of the smuggling operation. From both embassies, the co-conspirator who is mopping up, the Ambassador Alba. Ambassador Alba had a very strong motive to kill Manny Cochin. Okay, so... Beep, beep. The cause of Ambassador Alba's agitation, the rotten treasure we may find... You know, the coupons were bad? They were bad all this time. They're the bad guys. Dun 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 dun. Miss Yu said it herself, that she didn't kill anyone tonight. We were to take her word at face value, and the reason for the ambassador's nervousness can only be one thing. He didn't want us to discover the real circumstances under which Mr. Cochin was killed. Then, you mean Ambassador Alba is the real killer? But I thought the two of them were friends. Maybe they were, but what if Mr. Cochin was the one who first betrayed their friendship? Oh, I get it. Wasn't Mr. Cochin pushing really hard for Mr. Paleno to be ambassador after the reunification? Yes, and that was the real reason why he wanted to steal Alabast's Primaduck statue. So Mr. Cochin hired Damas II to go steal it for him. But when Ambassador Alba found out what he was up to, he killed Mr. Cochin? It is definitely a possibility at this point. Those two really were thinking of no one but themselves. But the question now is how did he do it? Ambassador Alba was in Alabast. But Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babel, right? Right, and this is what we must solve next. How about we go to... Examine Alba's bouquet. Is it this? Flowers were sent to Global Studios. Global Studios? That's where they filmed the Steel Samurai television show. The recent hit mystery recently in the papers the other day. There's getting a facelift too, right? Oh, I read this already. Yeah. I guess we have to examine a thing. What the heck? Give me a second. Okay, examine the photo near the flower wreath. Where the fudge is that? Examine the photos near the flower wreath. Well, I can't leave, so... Oh, this thing clearly right here. Good for me. Ha ha ha. This was taken just before the two ambassadors gave their bouquets to the Steel Samurai. Wait, is it just my imagination? Or is there something in this picture that I've seen before? Won't risk till I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. you see something strange in this photo, guys? It appears to be a bouquet of Persian silsamens and roses. Wow, you even know the exact species. I never would have figured you for an expert on flowers. Nah, it's all because of those flowers that old lady sends me every month. Just look at me. Sound like some sort of botanist. So, what exactly is this yellow flower here? That one, I'm not sure. What? You don't know? As far as I can recall, I've never seen a flower like this before. But I feel as though I've seen this shape somewhere before. Yeah, right here. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna guess with this. Babel's national symbol is the butterfly and Alabus is the flower. It would appear that someone is employing the old hide a tree in a forest trick. What are you mumbling to yourself about? Wait, what? The handle on this knife. Ah! Yes, it's the handle that was supposed to be on the blade that killed Mr. Cochin. The weapon that killed him was carried through the Theatrum Neutralis, and this very bouquet Ambassador Alba was carrying. The flower motif. It looks like one of the flower petals is missing. Oh, and take a look at the weapon itself. It's missing the exact same petal. Then the knife in this photo is most definitely the same as the murder weapon. Alright, guys. Alright. I now understand why Ambassador Alba was so nervous and agitated. It must have something to do with what Mr. Cochin was killed with where. A place where the Alabestian ambassador was likely to meet the Babylese Mr. Cochin. The place where Ambassador Alba happened to have committed the murder is... It's the Theatrum. The only place that makes sense is here, at the Theatrum Neutralis. What? Here? The Goodwill event was being held here today, correct? So the only place that the both of them would have been is here. But if that's the case, then everything changes. This theater isn't actually Alabestian land. So that wipes out one of those extraterritorial rights he has. It makes logical sense, in which case it is the reason for us to investigate further. So what should we check out? Let's see. I believe we should check the immigration records for both Alabas and Babel post-haste. Babel's records should be easy to obtain, however the problem will be Alabast. I wonder if they would allow us to see their records despite the order to vacate. Our order to vacate. I'm already one step ahead of you, Miles Edgeworth. Franziska. I have here the security footage from both Alabast and Babel. You would do well to take a look at its contents. Aw. You move fast. Avant Karma strives to be perfect in every way. It's not in my nature to keep on retreating like this. I took the liberty of looking over the Babel investigation reports as well. From now on, you will make no excuse to back down or say that we can't solve the case. Nah, sorry about earlier. Won't be beaten, because my cute little subordinate is going to try his very best, isn't he? Hasn't she patronized me enough already for a lifetime? So this video contains footage from Alabast's immigration screening area. I really hope there's something in here that we can use. Okay. There he is. There he is! Which minute's footage should I examine? How about this? How about the cart? Was it something about this lump shape strike you as odd? Huh? Isn't it supposed to be this shape? No, there is clearly something odd about this bulge. If only we had the pushcart itself, we could compare and confirm my hunch. Next, let's check the footage from Babel's security camera. Hope it shows us something good. No. Phooey, there wasn't a single sign of a suspicious person or anything. That right there is the contradiction. Huh? Did I miss something? You didn't miss anything. Because there was nothing to miss. However, what is missing is the image of Mr. Cochin entering his own country. Wasn't his body found in Babel? It would appear that the true face of our final puzzle has finally revealed itself. Yay! Hey, Nicholas! When you finish stream, can you join me in voice chat? I can try. If you remind me, Nicholas, I can. But like I said, remind me, okay? Remind me at the end of the stream. And welcome, how are you? Ambassador Alba. I thought I had asked for you and your group to vacate the premises, Mr. Edgeworth. Actually, I thought I should let you know that this theater sits on my country's soil. You've had your fun, and I've enjoyed our little game. I dare say that you've even achieved a new high score. However, once you've recorded a score, that same game can never be replayed again. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Your game is done, and it's game over. No.
Objection!
Where do you think you're going at this time of night? After admitting to my crime, I was overcome with regret, so I'm heading to the airport now to return home. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There are still too many issues we need to discuss. With you. You can't stop me, Mr. Edgeworth, and you know it. Arrgh. Hey, it's the other one. Please, may I have a little bit of your time, Ambassador Alba? Ambassador Paleno. Even just a teeny tiny bit is fine with me. The already strained relationship between our countries is in a precarious situation, you know? Very well. If you insist, I will play just one more round with them and see what they want. Not that they'll get any farther. Ambassador Paleno, Mr. Edgeworth, all I wish is for the normalization of relationships between our two countries. But there is one person standing in the way of that dream. I believe in you. You'll do what's right. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Had a good day, Nicholas? I'm glad you did. Hopefully you did some good stuffs. Now then, what was it you wanted to ask me about? I do have a flight to catch after all, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to limit you to just one question. That's more than enough because I only have one question anyway. I want to hear your alibi about how you couldn't have killed Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, I see. You seem to have a good hand this time around. This should be fun. This really is the very last chance we have to bring him down. It won't even allow an atom-sized contradiction to slip by. What do you think of Ambassador Alba's transformation, by the way, Mafia? Doesn't he look crazy now? Frankly, I still don't understand why I am being placed under suspicion here. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Cochin and I were fellow smugglers. But to get to the point, I was in Alabest the whole time, so it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babel. That is my alibi. Give me a second, folks. Okay. So, that is your alibi. Now you feel bad for saying the Babel ambassador's bad? It's fine. Little fun fact, Hedgewolf, he's not actually a real person. In fact, no one here is. So don't feel bad. He'll never know. But these people feel real to me, though. So that is your alibi. That is correct. It's simply not possible for me to have committed a crime in Babel. Now that we've cleared that up, I'd appreciate it if you would move out of my way.
Hold it!
I said hold it. What is it this time? I thought I told you I'd only allow one question. You did. But you still have yet to really answer my one question. What? Until you tell us the truth. I will refuse to budge an inch from where I'm standing. Very well. I'll play with you just a little longer. Miles Edgeworth as my subordinate and representative of this country's prosecutors. You are forbidden to lose. Of course, that is something I've understood from the start. That guy's the one who ordered my father killed, isn't he? Yes, I believe so. The goal of the first Yatagarasu was the capture of the smuggling ring's leader. My father and Uncle Bad. Their legacy will live on through me. So that's why we've just gotta catch him, okay? We will, I promise. Now, Ambassador Alba, let's have at the truth now, shall we? Heh. No matter how many times you ask, my answer remains the same. You're not a real person? Are any of us real? Maybe not. Maybe all of us are just AI, and AI is the real humans. Duh? No. Yes. Yes. It's not a hypothesis. Earlier we proved to be what happened. Well, let's leave that to one side for now, because it doesn't change the fact that I have no motive. Oh, so you really had no motive to kill Mr. Cochin? If you want to suppose I had one, then why not? I'll indulge you. After all, this is nothing more than a silly game to me. Even if that's how you see things, I'd appreciate it if you would take me seriously. Ahem, I'm sorry. I suppose you are in a bit of a pickle. Very well, a game is no fun if the playing field isn't level. Therefore, I formally claim that I had no motive to kill. Now let's see you disprove it. How can he stand there looking proud when he knows he killed another human being? Well, I'm not going to stand by and just watch him get away with his crimes. In that case, what motive would I have to kill my own co-conspirator? How about the note of Demistu? Give me a second. Okay. If you want to know, I believe you did have a motive to kill. It was because Mr. Cochin had betrayed you. But you had your own reason too. Namely, you wanted to pin the smuggling all on him. Evil begets evil, and because you were trying to test each other, it turned into this mess. Even has his own objection, guys. I don't believe this. You have a bad petchment for telling tall tales, Mr. Prosecutor. And if you're not, then I suppose you have some proof to support your argument. I never use guesswork in moving my cases forward. It has been proven that this note was written by Mr. Cochin's hand. Shall we take a look at it? The contents of the note is a request calling for the theft of Alabest Primaduck statue. By killing him and pushing all of the guilt for the smuggling onto him, you walk away spotless. I believe you understand what I'm driving at. You had more than a few reasons to kill him. Are you finished with your hypothesizing? Excuse me? Let's suppose I did have a motive. Even so, a motive or a thought alone can't kill. Isn't that right? I didn't expect him to resort to playing the semantics game with me. It appears that this is where the real battle will begin. Now then, if you will excuse me... Wait, what? I told you at the very beginning, didn't I? You only get one question. Arg! Ambassador Alba, if you could please give us just a little bit more of your time. Doesn't matter what kind of man he was my subordinate, which is why I would like us to figure out the real cause of his death. That is something for Babel to figure out, and something to which I have no relation to. Now he's even turned down a request from Ambassador Paleno. I'm very sorry, but it seems that now even my voice falls on deaf ears. There is no need for you to apologize, Ambassador Paleno. Grr, we must find some way to stop him from leaving. It seems there are no further objections. In that case, please allow me to return home. Someone's gonna stop him. It's Kay! Hold it right there, Ambassador Alba. Kay? Like I said, Mr. Edgeworth, the Yatagarasu's legacy will live on through me. Yes, but how do you suggest we stop him from leaving? You just leave that to me. Ambassador Alba, do you recognize this? No, and why should I recognize that tattered old organizer? Wait, where have I seen that before? That is a clue my father, Bern Faraday, left for us. Did you say Bern Faraday? Mr. Faraday's organizer? Don't tell me this is the one from the second KGA incident. The one in which he wrote about the Yatagarasu's key? Yes, this organizer belongs to the prosecutor you had Miss Yu killed 7 years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. You say that like it was related to me. Inside this organizer, you wrote up every detail of every evil thing you did. What an amusing little girl you are. That sort of trickery won't work on me. If you won't believe me, then take a look at this. And what is that toy there? This thievery device was used by the Yatagarasu, or rather, by my father. 7 years ago, he used this when he snuck into his embassy. What? these two pieces of evidence that hold information the Yatagarasu dug up on you. If you go home now, I won't hesitate to send it to Alabest right behind you. Little girl, get to the point. I want you to go up against Mr. Edgeworth one more time. If you win, then I'll hand over these two pieces of evidence. Yatagarasu, ever the thorn in my side. Okay, does the organizer really contain any information on his dirty dealings? It's nothing case-breaking, really. Ah, then it was just a bluff. Even if it was, we still can't let all the info my father and Uncle Bed gathered go to waste. Plus, just the existence of Little Thief is troublesome enough for him. Those two pieces, aren't they keepsakes of your father? It's okay. I believe in Mr. Edgeworth. He'll come out on top in the end. Okay. When the going gets tough, someone has got to be there to put the wind back in your sails. After all this time, you're still quite a feisty one. I applaud your powerful nature. I refuse to lose this too. Ambassador Alba, you won't be returning home until you give us further testimony. How dare you all, burying a person like me. Ambassador Alba, your testimony, if you please. Gurk. Alright, but this is the absolute last. Then, even if you use all the power of Ambassador Peleno's office, you won't stop me. I can't let this opportunity Kay has created for me go to waste. Ooh, this guy's been tough to, strike down, huh? The last time I met with Mr. Cochin was here at the Theatrum Neutralis. After that I was in Alabest the rest of the time, as I stated earlier. In any case, I did not see Mr. Cochin again after that. So you see, there is no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree? Now, since you people were practically begging, I'll allow you to question me. What an arrogant old man. Yes, but no matter, we can't allow this chance to escape us. I will warn you, though, you've reached the end of my patience. Waste my time with any inane questions and you will be punished. So any needless pressing or presenting will hurt our case. In that case, only one thing you can do is present the correct evidence, understood? Of course, I don't intend to let him intimidate me. I know Mr. Kocha was killed before he returned to Babel, in which case there's only one statement to which I need to present the evidence. Alright, we need to do the thing where I save the game. Okay, guys? Theatrum Neutralis. We need to do the photo.
Objection!
I'd like you to take a look at this picture. It's a rather nice picture, isn't it? It was to commemorate the restoration of relations between our nations. Oh, it's commemorative, all right. One that captures the proof I need to show that it was you who committed the murder. Come again? This is the knife that killed Mr. Cochin. I see you recognize it, as well you should, for it was you who brought it to this theater. You hid it among the flowers you were to give to the Steel Samurai, meaning that you killed Manny Cochin here at the theater. Grrrr. Gwahahaha. It's time for me to catch my flight.
Objection!
We're not through yet.
Objection!
It's game over for you, Mr. Edgeworth. But I thank you for the entertainment. No matter how passionately you orate, the end result will still be the same. I won't be returning to this country ever again. That's right. This man is an ambassador, and he has extraterritorial rights. No matter how hard we chase after him, we won't be able to have him tried in court. Yes, that's exactly the face you should be making. The face of a worthless cur. No! Well, it's over, guys. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, I must bid you farewell. The courts. Isn't there no one who can lay a finger on this man? Is this really the end? Oh! Haha. Agent Lang. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Prosecutor. Get out of my way. My plane is scheduled to take off soon. Sorry, but you're not going anywhere, Mr. Alba. I'm through playing games with you people. You can't touch me. If you do, I would spark an international incident, Agent Lang. Sorry, but no, it wouldn't. What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Good job holding the fort down here until I got back. So, Mr. Alba, your diplomatic immunity has just been revoked. What do you mean, revoked? Spare me this nonsense and let me through. Lang Zi says, before aiming for the throat, shoo the neck shield off first. Interpol headquarters in the Imperial household of the Kingdom of Alabas. Took a while to get things rolling, but they finally moved on it. The Imperial household? You, what have you done? You have been relieved of your duties as ambassador, Mr. Alba. What? 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 Effective today, effective right now. And you have Mr. Prosecutor's videotape to thank for this. The video of the Yatagarasu protected? You can't be arrested simply because you're an ambassador. In that case, I thought I'd strip you of that title. You underestimate me, a descendant of the founder of detainment philosophy, Lang Zi. 4,000 years of deeply entrenched connections and networks around the world have really paid off. Look at him. He's back to normal. It can't be. I don't believe this. My ambassadorship has been revoked. Ha 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 ha. Looks like you're finally coming to grips with your new standing. Woohoo! Looks like he's turned docile again. He's probably in shock from the loss of his shield. What a shame. I had so wanted to use my whip on him. Why is this happening to me? I'm just a hard-working, honest ambassador. Do you really think you can still pull that on us now? We've already stripped away the mask and seen you for who you really are, Mr. Alba. Good. Oh. Ah! No, I won't be stopped now. He still intends to fight us? So what if I am no longer an ambassador? You still don't have any evidence on me. The fact remains that you cannot arrest me. Heh, I'd expect no less from you, the boss of the smuggling ring. Well, the rest is up to you, Mr. Prosecutor. Understood. Hehehehe. You say that I killed Mr. Cochin in the theater, but even if it's true, then there was a knife in my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater, so anyone could have taken it out from there and used it, right? Besides, the claim that he was killed here itself is odd. After all, it wasn't his body discovered in Babel. Are you claiming that I carried his body all the way over here? Preposterous. I'll be the one to prove whether it's preposterous or not. Gurk. Ex-Ambassador Alba, are you ready? Because this is no game. This is war. Alright. So far, so good, guys, huh? Give me a second. Okay. I killed Mr. Cochin in the theater using a knife that was stuck in my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater. Anyone could have taken a knife from there. Besides, Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babel, yeah, right? There is no way for me to have transported his body from the theater to Babel. Look, don't you think you had enough fun with me? You've already stolen my ambassadorship from me. Would you have me surrender too? Oh yeah, indeed. You have no plans to ever return to this country, isn't that right? Did you know that a bunch of your subordinates are seeking asylum because of you? Ha ha ha, as if I care. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, boot this guy out of the embassy and we can finally end everything. I know, and I will give it my all to see that he leaves in handcuffs. Without the title of ambassador, as he's just another witness. Yes, just another witness. Alright, what are we waiting for? Let's get this guy. And get him good. I wonder if they understand that all I can do is present evidence to the testimony. Okay, listen up, guys, okay? No, 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 Yes. There is a way to do the thing. This thing.
Objection!
Actually, I do believe there was a way to transport the body out of the theater. Going to bed, see ya. Aw, good night, David. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. You had a good time. I'm glad you did. More games tomorrow. Look forward to it. More multiplayer games. Perhaps you should have given this a look. What is that supposed to be? It's footage from a security camera that captured the state of the immigration area. Should I congratulate you on getting your hands on it? Just letting you know that we're not the only ones watching your every movement. Bye. Bye. Thank you for the warning. Now, if you could take a good look at this section here. This lump here inside the pushcart, do you know what's causing it? Should I? Because I don't. In that case, allow me to enlighten you. Give me a second. Excuse me. Allow me to enlighten you. This is the cause of the unnatural lump under the cloth in the pushcart. It's the notes.
Take that!
But what is the meaning of showing me that? It's to say that the unnatural bulge in the pushcart is Mr. Cochin's body. Hang on. Give me a second. Okay. Cochin's body. You had the Steel Samurai wheel his body away from the real crime scene. Gahahaha. What a guess. But I wonder if you have any evidence to support it. I admit that for now it is but a hypothesis. However, if you can't prove it, then I'm afraid I must be on my way. I don't have any more time to play with you people. Sorry it took so long, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Gummy? Detective Gumshoe, is that the Steel Samurai's pushcart? Yes, sir. I found it in the open air stage area. So, that's where you went. The detective spirit that Pops left with me? I thought I'd follow my gut and go with it, sir. So, Mr. Edgeworth, is this worth anything to the case? Yes, it just might play a major role in solving this case, Detective. But something isn't right. I thought that this entire samurai family was in Alabast. Where exactly is the open air stage? In the open air stage area did you find this pushcart? I found it just lying there at the edge of the stage, sir. Oh? Well, let's leave that for now and examine the insides, Detective. Yes, sir. Oh, what do we have here, guys? It's blood. This must be Mr. Cochin's blood, which only goes to prove that Mr. Cochin's body was indeed transported by this pushcart. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Cochin at this theater and then placed his body inside the pushcart. Ooh, I know, right? And then you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. I forced him to move the body into Alabast. What nonsense. Why would I bother to do such a thing? You were scheduled to make a speech in Alabast, meaning it was difficult for you to make a stop in Babel. However, what if you move the body to Alabast? Because it was your embassy, you could keep an eye on it and tamper with the evidence. And then you smuggled it out of Alabast. No! If I can show you how you move the body from Alabast to Babel, then I win. But you can't. The security between the two countries is incredibly tight. I'll be the one to judge whether I can or cannot prove it, and I so ask you to provide us with testimony regarding your movements after your relation returned to Alabast. Grrr. Miles Edgeworth, have you figured it out? Do you know how the body was moved? To be honest, I have nothing to support my hypothesis at this time. However, I don't believe that I've made a mistake in my logic up to this point, which means there is no question that can't be answered, right? The Primadoc statue was smuggled successfully through a brief flight through the air. So why shouldn't there be an answer as to how the body was moved? Which means that there must be a logic flaw somewhere I can explain. Okay. Movements in blah blah blah. After I returned to Alabes, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands. Then just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagarasu appeared. I feared for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office. Is that all? Yes, that's all.
Objection!
Looks like you left out a few things. As the murder of DMAS 2. Furthermore, you left out the part about meeting with me in your office. Those trifling matters, I don't believe I need to speak of those things again. I do so hate to waste time. What? You. Is not every life precious? Hehehe. Do you really need me to answer that for you? People like you cannot be allowed to wander freely through society. Then you'd better try hard, because I doubt you'll find a single contradiction. He's really full of himself, isn't he? Yes, he is. How can he be so confident at a time like this? Ha 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 ha. Come, don't be shy. Go ahead and ask whatever you'd like. Whew. This guy is a toughie, huh? Movements in Balabaraba. After I returned to Alabes, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands.
Hold it!
So why was it only with the Steel Samurai? I thought the Pink Princess was also around. The Pink Princess was suffering from a bad hip at the time, and the doctors recommended that she rest. Wow, so you do have a soft side after all. The pain of a bad hip. I suppose none of you can really understand how it feels. Oh, so you tend to strain your back as well, huh? But isn't that just because you're normally all hunched over? Look at that, Hedgewolf. They actually, questioned it. You did need to keep up the act no matter what, I suppose. The point of this is not to discuss my back problems. For about 15 minutes after our handshake, I was in my office preparing for the speech. Then just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagarasu appeared.
Hold it!
The Yatagarasu was just a trick that you had set up. Ha ha ha, a most amusing joke, and how do you propose that I set it up? If you really want to know, I can explain it in detail for you. You arranged the spotlights in the rose garden so that when you were to take the stage, the audience would see the Yatagarasu's shadow. Oh, this is an interesting tale. Sadly, it has nothing to do with me. What is it going to take for you to fess up to anything? Very well then, let's move on to a different question. After the Yatagarasu appeared, what was the state of the rose garden? Everyone took refuge inside the embassy. I even helped with the effort. And then once everyone was inside, well... Yep, bad for the back. I know. I bet it did feel good to stand up straight like that, though. With the back cracking and all that. I've rid for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office.
Hold it!
What happened after you returned to your office? I don't want to keep on repeating this, however. Upon my return, I had the stroke of bad luck and bumped into Messman.
Objection!
And I don't want to keep on repeating this either. But his name was Demas too. Who cares what he was called? By the time he got to the Primaduck statue he was supposed to steal, he had already been swapped for the fake. Talk about an unlucky man. Being bludgeoned to death with a fake statue. Ha ha ha. Miss Von Karma is really letting her whip fly now. Eek! I think the scary part is her silence while she's doing it. She must be at the limit of her patience as well. The physical attacks are meaningless here. Only evidence will suffice. Gurk. I can't find a single flaw in his argument. At this rate, I won't be able to prove that he's actually guilty of anything. Are we finished here? Miles Edgeworth, can't you not come up with how the body was moved to Babel? Sir. Mr. Edgeworth! Grr. Even after proving so much, is he going to get away with it? Nah. Is this the end? Yeah, it's over, guys. No one can help me now. It appears that we made it just in time. It would be the great honor if you would allow us to be your allies in battle. Evil magistrate, it's time for you to pay. It's the Steel Samurai? No, you are mistaken, for I am Steel Samurai Daddy, married man of Neo Old Tokyo. And this is Pink Princess Mommy. Edgy Poo! Pulleys? What do you mean by that, pulleys? The soul bag's back again. No! The two people that I wanted to see the least. Larry! What are you two doing here? Way to show your gratitude, Edgy. We just wanted to help. Yeesh. I'm gonna get the bad guy with a single thrust of my... Go away. How can you be so mean to us, Edgy Poo? All three of us came to lend a hand, and this is how you treat us? Oh, isn't this great? And I see they managed to find the Iron Infant. Does that really matter right now? Hey, is it just me, or is the Iron Infant completely soaked? Huh? Oh yeah, I found him in Babel, but he was in the middle of the pool. Wait a second. Larry, go back to what you just said. Huh? Oh, it appears that we made it. Not that far back. Something about finding the Iron Infant in Babel. And he found it in a pool? I don't recall there being one in Babel. Oh, that. Well, I was in Alabest the whole time. So I have no idea how the Iron Infant wound up in Babel. So I thought I had lost him in the Rose Garden. But I guess maybe this cute kid can swim, huh? Wait, what? Larry, you lost the Iron Infant in the Rose Garden? You're sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. But I found him in... That's enough, Larry. The Iron Infant that Larry lost managed to move between the two countries. Furthermore, the Iron Infant was found soaked in... Soaked in the middle of a pool. This is what I've been looking for. It's another smuggling route that's between the countries. The key to the route the Iron Infant took to travel from Alabest to Babel is... bilateral symmetry! Death the Kid would love this place. Ah, that's right. This embassy was built with bilateral symmetry in mind. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. There's a location I wished for you to examine post-haste. It is where I believe the route to use to smuggle Mr. Cochin's body lies. Does something like that really exist, sir? An embassy built on bilateral symmetry, meaning that this is where we need to examine. We need to examine right here.
Take that!
Yes, sir. I'll be back before you know it. It's too late. It doesn't matter now what you do. It's all a waste of time. He was thinking the body could be sent over using the same method as the statues. Maybe. Only problem is that he was killed in this room, apparently. And then dragging him all the way up. With his old frail body, that might be tough. You will stay here and with us and wait. This is Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, it's here, sir. There's a reservoir here, just like in the Rose Garden. Beep. Just as I suspected. What is it? The two sides of the embassy are mirror images of each other, which means that there is also a pool at the corresponding location on the Beverly side. Wow! Mr. Cochin's body was moved into Babel through the pool in Alabest. Avoiding the topic with a vague answer is like that is unbecoming of a prosecutor. If you don't mind, I'd like to see more physical proof if you have any. The Iron Infant is positively soaked in water. Why do you think that is? It's because he was fished out of a pool, and not just any pool. It was the Babelese one. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that what must be true. The water reservoirs in the two courtyards are connected. And where's your proof that two sides are connected? The proof is right here before your eyes. The half-drowned iron infant. What? This blasted doll! Mr. Gumshoe, I'm back. Hey, don't tell me. You guys figured everything out without telling me? We did, thanks to this hero of justice's son. Even if he is just a doll, he managed to help foil the villain. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Look, I don't want to say this, but it's kind of unlikely that the body just happened to have passed through onto Babel. This guy's a doll and he's small, so I can believe it made it, but he has a point. Heh. Yes, that's right. I'm glad someone here understands. Mr. Edgeworth, are you going to next propose that a dead body can swim through a pipe? You see, Mr. Prosecutor, our chase after this man is far from over. Agent Lang. Why is he helping Mr. Alba out now? He's not. He's realized the flaw in my argument and is helping to move the logic along. In which case, I should return the favor and find him an answer. And another thing, Mr. Cochin's body was found in his office in Babel. So what happened to his body after it was transported to the open-air stage? Mr. Alba had an accomplice in Babelese, remember? You mean Sina, right? With her there, you could see how it was possible to move the body up to the office. Are you seriously claiming that she swam through the connecting pipes with the body? He's right. Miss Sheena would drown if she did that. It's hard to imagine that she could swim through the connecting pipes. Looks like your hypothesis about how the body was moved is still only half-baked. In the end, it's all just the befuddled musings of an accusatory man. Now then, I believe you should give up and allow me passage. Because from the start, there was no feasible method of transporting the body. What? Mr. Prosecutor, recall Sheena's movements. Nah. What was happening in the embassy around the time of Miss Sheena was in Babel? Oh, if only there were a way to get rid of the water in the pool. Get rid of the water? Aha, that's it. Now I believe it's time we really are done, right? Yay! Fortunately for you, it's far from over, Mr. Edgeworth. You are our most persistent man. Are you saying that you've thought of a way to prove the body through the water? Oh no. I gotta wake up a bit, guys. Oh no. If I'm reading nonsense, if I'm reading words that are not wrong, that are not right, let me know, alright? More of the body under the water. That is completely unrelated to how it was done. Excuse me? The reason I say that is because there wasn't any water there at the time. What do you mean? What do you mean there wasn't any water? Just what it sounded like. Tonight's events made it possible to drain the water, allowing the body to be moved. I don't remember, so... It says area near well. It's a Triple's counterpart. It's an area near the wall. Is it like missing? Is this guy missing a? Is this guy missing a thing? How is it possible for the body to be drained? Great. No idea, guys. Maybe this.
Take that.
Alright, well, cool, very nice, guys, very cool. Thank you, game, thank you, God, rather, for not having a proper, thing. Not having a proper guide. Searching Babble's counterpart. It's not mentioning the next thing. Yeah, no idea. Is there a thing that says, yeah, the thing's gonna be lowered soon? Maybe this? Is it possible, I guess this maybe? Or maybe the statue?
Take that!
Oh my god. Here. Good guide, guys! You just said pulleys instead. Maybe it was a pulley, Hedgewolf. It was a pulley that did it. This is what happens when I don't have a guide. I am clueless. Absolutely 100% clueless. I'm gonna save one more time in case it's wrong. Tonight's event, what about, the picture, maybe? Of the Yatagarasu? Maybe? Or this?
Take that!
Oh, good job. Good job, game, for not having this in your guide. Good job. Tonight the Yatagarasu was set fire to a variety of locations in the Babalese embassy. In order to put the fire out, much of the reservoir's water was used. Of course, when the water was used, the reservoir's water level went down. If enough water was drained, the connecting pipe could be used to traverse the border. So what? The water level went down, the reservoirs were connected. Does any of this matter? You can't prove any of this. Pretending to be ignorant won't work with me. We both know what kind of situation we're in right now. Even in a game there comes a critical game-changing moment. A moment in which you hit a wall that you must overcome in order to beat the game. Haven't lost yet. I found the route you used to smuggle the body, and the route will lead to your defeat. Even if all the water used by the firefighting effort, you still can't really call that a smuggling route. I know that. I should have figured that you would notice. And Mr. Alba, how deep are those pools anyway? I'll have you know those pools are extremely deep, and there are no ladders or footholds along the walls either. It would be difficult for Sheena to hold the body and climb up out of the pool. Ladders or footholds along the walls? There was no need for such things. What do you mean? If one were to use a certain something, they could go up or down in the pool at will. Oh, it looks like you've got an answer already. Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Prosecutor? Enlighten us already. The way in which Miss Sheena and the body were able to rise up to the ground level, there was a way to control the water level that could be the way the body was moved. This way was used so that the body of Miss Sheena could move up and down in the pool. It is the thing I did last time.
Take that!
Mr. Alba used the fountain spouts in a matter of speaking. He used the fountain spouts? How so? The water level in the pools can be controlled by opening and closing the spouts. Miss Sheena and the body were lifted upward by their buoyancy in water. Okay, buoyancy in water. The fire on the Babalese side and the firefighting effort, these were set in motion all for the sake of smuggling Mr. Cochin's body. Grr. Shall I show you where the final destination of my train of logic leads? First, Mr. Alba closed the fountain spouts in advance in preparation of things to come. Then he took the pushcart that was brought to the rose garden and pushed it along with the iron infant and Mr. Cochin's body into the pool. At the time, Miss Sheena was busy conveniently starting the first fire in Babel. She then made for the open-air stage's pool to wait for the firefighting effort to begin. When the firefighters used the water in that pool, the water level went down. And by the time the fire was put out, the pipe between the two pools was exposed. This is when she pushed the pushcart from the Alabus into Babel. Once that was accomplished, Mr. Alba simply opened the fountain spouts once more. Wow. Ain't that clever, guys, eh? And the water level rose up to its original level, along with Miss Sheena and the body. After that, Miss Sheena used the pushcart to carry the body up to the Secretariat's office. There is an elevator in the embassy after all, so you see, even with her small frame, she could have easily transported Mr. Cochin's body. And that wraps up my thorough explanation on how the body was moved. Grr. Wow! Well, ex-Ambassador Alba, what do you think? Not so untouchable without your precious extra-territorial rights to protect you, are you? I knew you could do it, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to fight back. You accuse me of moving the body across country lines, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you don't have what it takes to indict me. The nitty-gritty? What does the old man want now? Proof, I believe, is what he seeks. Yes, proof. Without any, who is to say whether or not any of what you said really happened? Wants proof? What are we going to do, Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to worry. I had all the proof we needed all along. The body wasn't the only thing to go through the pool's connecting pipe tonight. Just as Detective Gumshoe found the pushcart in the open-air stage area, so too did I find one other item there. And that piece of evidence is what will prove that the pools were the smuggling route. This was another thing to smuggle over to the Babel's open-air stage area. It's the guitar pick.
Take that!
And what exactly is this? You have no idea, do you? This little piece that I found on the Babel side will be your undoing. A guitar pick? Would you care to explain how that is going to do me in, as it were? Much to your chagrin, perhaps, but this is not a guitar pick. What? This is something I found in the open-air stage, which was transported with the body, and naturally assumed that you would recognize it, since you took a photo with it after all. But since you don't, allow me to show you what this fragment from the stage area belongs to. It's our friend, the knife! Let us take a good look at the murder weapon that was used to kill Manny Cochin. On the handle of this knife, there is a beautifully blooming flower. However, it would appear that it's missing a single petal. Hey, Captain Chips. Where were ya? Freaking finally. I guess you were held up by something. The ambassador is suspect. The ambassador is suspect, Captain Chips, but not the one you were thinking of. Now let's see what happens when we try to fit this pick into that open slot. Dead? For the last half hour your internet's been dead? Oh no. Oh, internet, you're so cool. Well, welcome back. It's a perfect fit. I assume that the petal must have fallen off on the flower during Mr. Cochin's murder, and then it was accidentally placed into the pushcart along with Mr. Cochin's body. Yeah. How do you like Alba's new look, by the way? Grr, that is an interesting story, nothing more. Oh, I assure you it's more than just a story. Because for some odd reason, this flower petal was wet when I found it. It was wet, you say? Yes, and the only place it could have gotten wet from is the open-air stage's pool. Now I ask you, how did a part of the weapon which was smuggled into the theater wind up in the open-air stage area on the Babylese side of the embassy? Explicitly, he's a military man, of course. Yep. I don't think I need to waste any words explaining this, as this petal explains it all for me. It proves that someone went from the Rose Gardens pool on through into Babel. Impossible! The people of Zangfa have been waiting to see you face to face, Mr. Alba. I'll tell everyone back home we'll be there soon. You should be happy. Why? Why? It's a little late to be asking that question. You should have known from the very beginning, when you took your first life. No matter how you may plot or how you may try to cover it all up, you can never hide from your crime and what you've done, because we're here to see to it that justice is served to people like you. You can't call what you've given me a perfect argument. You know, I don't think this guy is going to ever admit to his wrongdoings, Mr. Edgeworth, because he values himself above all else. People who can't be negotiated with are people who refuse to admit when they've lost. I don't believe those kinds of people really exist because everyone breaks eventually. You're right. In that case, I have no choice but to use all of the evidence I have. I'll use it all until he breaks under the weight of his crimes. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. This really will be the end of the line. To be continued, motherfucker. On to the final chapter, guys. Here we go. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. As if there is anything else for me to testify about. I still have yet to fully prove that it was Mr. Alba who murdered Mr. Cochin. Well, I would like to hear about your movements before the murder occurred. I wonder if you could tell us about what you did here at the Theatrum Neutralis. Very well. I suppose I could tell you about that. Hehehe. Because about all I did was watch the Steel Samurai stage show. Elaborating on even that alone is good enough for me. The only way for me to place this man under arrest is to pinpoint the exact location of where the murder took place, and for that is the key of this investigation. We spent nearly 1 hour trying to arrest this man, Captain Chips. He is one of the toughest people we've tried to arrest thus far. I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. I do remember the content of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you? Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them. So you were in the theater proper watching the Steel Samurai stage show, were you? Of course I was. I have great fondness for the Steel Samurai. Yeah, I was pretty cool up there, wasn't I? You're not the one who was cool. It's the Steel Samurai who's cool. Yeah, and the Steel Samurai's special finishing move today was really something, huh? Hey, Edgy! Who is she? Who is this super cute girl? She's been standing here this whole time and only now he notices her? Her name is Kay Faraday, and she's helping me in my investigation. Again expected, he's an ambassador after all. They're political negotiators and spies. He'd be very good at this kind of thing. Yes, he is. Luckily, thanks to Agent Lang, his ambassador status has been revoked. So, that's why he's here in the first place still. Sorry I didn't get to introduce myself earlier, but better late than never. Yes, okay, I'm Larry Bot. Silence in the peanut gallery. There's no time for such trivialities at a time like this. Mr. Prosecutor, this is the final battle, you got that? I know, this is the end. For that man there. Ha ha ha, now that's the kind of thing I like to hear. Gotta love Interpol, right? Especially Lang. I think I'll give trusting you a try, Mr. Prosecutor, or rather, Mr. Edgeworth. I leave this critical battle up to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Have no fear, I will finish the job. This really is the endgame. The time has come to expose every last one of Mr. Alba's lies. No. No. Yes.
Hold it!
Well, I remember the content of the show as well myself. That's nice. That's nice. Miles Edgeworth, don't allow yourself to be riled up by him at this important juncture. Nah, I wasn't planning to let him. Well, if you ask me, I think I'm the biggest Steel Samurai expert around here. And didn't you think the climactic scene of today's show was just totally awesome? Yes, I remember that well, and a spectacular special move. The way you delivered the final blow against the evil magistrate's early summer rain jab. Oh, that scene will live on in my heart forever. Is that how it went? I totally forgot about that. How can you forget your own special moves? That's the special attack that the Steel Samurai uses when he's using the Samurai Spear. Yes, and today was the first time they showed it off, was it not? If I hadn't watched that show, then how could I answer you with the name of the move? Suppose you are correct, but could you please elaborate on this point for me? One of the scenes was his never-before-seen early summer rain jab move. Oh, really? Well, how about... he couldn't do that.
Objection!
Okay. The special move today was the early summer rain jab. Is that your final answer?
Objection!
You little irritating gnat. Do you think you can trip me up by asking the same question over and over? That was not my intention. Your testimony is more than sufficient. However, I believe it would be wise for you to take a look at this. The samurai spear? What about it? This spear actually never made it on stage today. Excuse me? Heh. Unfortunately for you, tonight's Steel Samurai happened to be the goof of a young man with an abundance of useless hot-bloodedness. Having said that, said useless man bent the spear during his rehearsal this evening. Okay, do you remember what the Steel Samurai special move was tonight? It was the Steel Samurai Sushi Slash. Correct, because he couldn't use the spear, a last-minute change was made. Had you really been watching the show, you would have known the move that was used. Crocus Alba, you didn't watch even a single minute of the Steel Samurai stage show tonight, did you? Haha. So if he wasn't watching the show tonight, then it opens up the possibility that he was busy killing Mr. Cochin instead. So where were you during the show? I demand an answer now. Heh. Just what is so funny? You're so sloppy, and so are your conclusions. I still insist that I watched the show, or most of it in any case. What do you mean by most of it? You see, during the show I left my seat for a spell to visit the bathroom. I assume that was when the dramatic scene was played out on stage. But this is the lousiest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life, pal. Just because he got the name of the move wrong. We can't really use that as proof if he didn't watch the show at all. Kirk. As a fan of the Steel Samurai, I had wanted to watch the entire show. Honest. As a Steel Samurai fan, for someone who wasn't even in his seat for the climax of the show, you have no right to call yourself a Steel Samurai fan ever. Who was that just now? It would be I, young lady. Larry, what are you doing interrupting me like that? Edgy, please, hold on, hold for a second, I beg. You may never accept this old man as a Steel Samurai fan, but I totally think he's a Steel Samaniac. What exactly is a Steel Samaniac, pal? I believe he meant to say Steel Samurai Maniac. Yeah, and trust me, I know a real fan when I see one, because I'm the Steel Samurai. Aw, good night, Mafia. You'll see, I'm sure you'll see the ending of this case, later on. But be well, be awesome, see you later! I'm the Steel Samurai. I will never acknowledge you as the true Steel Samurai. What are you getting so worked up over, Mr. Edgeworth? It appears that the real Steel Samurai recognizes me as a fan, as well as he should, for I am a fan. It's not as though I missed the entire show. It was a most amazing show filled with the spirit of the young, and the young at heart. The sarcasm dripping from his long wooden nose couldn't run any thicker. Getting the name of the move wrong only proves that he didn't watch the last scene. What I really need here is something more definitive. Something that links Mr. Alba directly to the murder of Mr. Manny Cochin. You know what, Gramps? You're really something else. I'm honored to receive such praise from the Steel Samurai, but what is it for? I was just wondering how you found out about the early summer rain jab. The move is a bit of a secret that only a small portion of the staff know about. Wait, it was a secret? Larry, wait, what did you just say? Huh? Did I say something stupid again? Did you say that the early summer rain jab was actually a secret? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said secret. It's more like we only decided on the name of the move right before the start of the show. Right before? Yeah, the stage director was going nuts because we were supposed to debut the move. About 5 minutes before the show, we threw it up on the dressing room's whiteboard. Early summer rain jab, that's kinda how we decided the name of the move. But by that time, I already bent the spear, so I guess the whole thing was kinda pointless. All of you Steel Samurai actors are the same. The director has my complete sympathy. Long story short, because we changed the move to the sushi slash, he kinda pretended that the early summer rain jab didn't exist at all. I mean, it'd be bad if someone found out we changed the move, so we made it as a secret. So basically a gag order was issued for publicity's sake. It almost makes the early summer rain jab sound like a lost art. Yeah, which is why I think that most of the staff hadn't even heard of the move. Hold those lips of yours still. What the heck, old man? I've done nothing but listen, and from what I can tell, it's all very unrelated to the case. Thus a very tedious and pointless exercise in wasting time, much like a kid's show. Mr. Alba, I believe the one who should be quiet now is you. How dare you? I suspect that you've already noticed exactly what the very severe implications are in this man's testimony. Ha, so now you're trying to bully me, huh? There are no implications, so we run into the behind-the-scenes story of a kid's show. Don't even think about trying to slither your way out of this, Quercus Alba. You were the one who said it yourself, that the name of the move was Early Summer Rain Jab, but the name was only decided upon right before the show was about to start. So, just what are you driving at? That's the name of the move you told us was never used in the show or said aloud. Now then, would you care to tell us about how you found out the name of that move? Because I can only think of one way you could have known. Quercus Alba, this is the only way you could have known the name of the special move. You saw it! You knew the name because you saw it. You saw it on the dressing room's whiteboard. The staff members who knew were keeping it a secret, so you couldn't have simply gone up to a staff member and asked, which means that the only other option left is that you saw it on the whiteboard. So that means Mr. Alba was in there at some point, right? But what is the big deal, sir? I don't see what that means. There is another piece of evidence that has a great deal to do with the dressing room, so we can't afford to let this slide. This is related to both the dressing room and Mr. Cochin's murder. It's the pushy cart!
Take that!
Hang on a minute. Okay. The push cart that was used to move the body was right there in the dressing room. During the show, the push cart awaited its turn to be pushed on stage in the dressing room. And it was finally pushed there along with the Iron Infant in the last scene of the show. And then right after the show ended, it went into Alabast along with the Steel Samurai. Which means that the only time the killer could have placed the body inside the pushcart was when the pushcart was in the dressing room backstage. So basically, the killer had to be someone who visited the dressing room during the show. Precisely. Grah! Oh, but wait, what if, and this is just a what if the murder took place right in the dressing room? What do you mean, Kay? Have to admit, she brings up a valid possibility. During the show, the dressing room was supposed to be devoid of people. Slipping undetected into a private dressing room, that would be as simple as pie. The killer must have come up with the idea to move the body with the pushcart then, too. Correct, thus making the theater's dressing room the ideal location for the murder of Manny Cochin. Quercus Alba, during the show, you went down to the dressing room, and I want to know why. Yes. Yes, I was there. I went into the dressing room. I knew it. I'm placing you under arrest right now, pal. You got that? Arrest. Not so fast. What is it now? Don't I deserve a chance to explain myself? Explain? What is there to explain? I believe I told you earlier that I went to the bathroom. Well, I got lost when I did. I wanted to ask for directions, but when I opened the dressing room door, no one was inside. And that's when I saw the name of the move on the whiteboard. You punk, still trying to get out of this? Do you really think you can get away with it at this point? Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything you can do to stop him? Nah, I don't have enough evidence on hand to do anything. I don't have the airtight evidence I need to put this man away for good. But if that's what I need, then perhaps... Agent Lang, I believe an investigation of the dressing room in question is in order. It's possible that we may find new evidence there. Yeah, if Mr. Edgeworth pokes around in there, I'm sure he'll find some new facts, pal. Oh, and if we use Little Thief, we may even learn something from a recreation. You don't need to do any of that. What? Wolfie, how could you? I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just that we've already searched there. My men really did something else. And they found nothing? There's only one thing I can say to you, sis, and it's they found nothing. That's all. I guess you're right. If they had found something, they would have reported it to us. They couldn't find anything because there was nothing there to find. And if there's nothing, and if there is no info to feed into Little Thief, then I can't do much to help either. Is this the end? The murder took place in this theater, which is not protected under extraterritorial rights. And the fact that it was Mr. Alba himself who committed the murder. If I can't prove both statements to be true, Mr. Alba walks away a free man. Is there no other course of action left to us? It would appear that your hand of cards has turned out to be a bust. Now, if you will excuse me, because of you people, I missed my flight. Now I must make haste to arrange for a new one. Who did it now? Who is it this time? Hold it right there, you whippersnappers! Hack, first Larry and now you? What is with that scary mobster-like scowl on your face, Edgy Poo? Don't treat me like I'm sort of nuisance. I've been meaning to say this, but all of you keep talking about things I don't get at all. You're all leaving this lady in the sad, depressing, lonely dust that I'm about to cry in. Why did you have to speak up right at this instant? But you know what, Edgy Poo? Cheer up, because I'm about to give you the most wonderful thing. Good old bag. I know, right? We all love her. We all love to hate her, and we all hate to love her. Right? The most wonderful thing from you? It's so super special that I couldn't give it away to just anyone, you know? My special present of love to my sweet Edgy Poo. Are you ready? Is this? It's a box of those samurai dogs, right? Yes. Oh, Edgy Poo. Here, go on and eat one, and you'll feel as right as rain. Are we through here? Why did everyone get so quiet all of a sudden? Edgy Poo, tell me you understand the depths of this lady's love for you. I'm not one to hand out snacks willy-nilly, you know. No, sir. The thought occurred to me that maybe it would be good if I fed you really nice and full one day. It's my dream to serve you some of my own homemade food. I mean, isn't it the desire of every woman to make sure that their beloved never goes hungry? And just to tell you one thing, a long time ago, it makes the most ingredients do in front of me. Always starting to expect that. Mr. Edgeworth, can you do anything about her? There is no power on earth that can force that woman into silence. Oh my gosh. Would she get in trouble for thrusting that sword? But I'm so sick and tired of it. All you people do is look down on me. Even this box of samurai dogs played me for a fool. It had a special design on its fan, like the Japanese flag, so I thought it was special. But when I ate one, it tasted just like the rest. Oh, it made me so mad. Wait, a special box with a Hinomaru-like fan on it? Never heard of such a piece of merchandise existing before. However, there it is. The red sun on the fan is filled in. Is it possible? Could it be? After the show, the samurai dogs were piled up on the dressing room floor. However, there was no such thing as a Hinomaru dog. This contradiction of facts between something that should not exist and yet does. Poor Reggie. Poor Reggie Poo. I know. And yet does. The fan from this red sun may just be what we needed to point us in the right direction. A present? Studio bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We're supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all up into the pushcart just to move them. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You kill Mr. Kochin at this theater and then place his body inside the pushcart. And then, you force the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. And to pierce the final pieces of the logic puzzle together. No matter how fragile or small the connections may be, once we found them all, the weight of the truth will be revealed. Woo! Samurai dogs! And body in the pushcart. The killer used the pushcart to transport the body, which means that they had to remove the samurai dogs from within first. Therefore, the samurai dogs that were piled up on the dressing room floor were most likely taken out of the pushcart by the killer. Boom! Boom! That's gross. Yeah, a little bit. That which should not exist, this box of samurai dogs with a Hinomaru on it. If this red sun was filled in when the killer was busy removing samurai dogs from the pushcart, then that's proof that the murder took place in the dressing room, as long as this red substance turned out to be what I believe it to be. Wendy Oldbag, I thank you. What you have given to me is truly something very special. Edgy poo? Mr. Edgeworth, are you sure you're feeling okay, sir? Mr. Alba, as I suspected, you killed Mr. Kochin in the dressing room. How many times must I listen to you repeat yourself? Haven't you figured it out yet? Your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The only way I'm going to continue to cooperate is with some definitive evidence. That arrogance, that self-confidence. You believe that you've erased every piece of evidence that could incriminate you. However, there remains one piece here, and it is what will put you away for good. Ha! You're bluffing. Oh-ho. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Unlike you finally found them. You finally found the things we need to go after this guy's jugular. So tell us, what about this box of samurai dogs is going to put the old man away? The trace evidence that will bring him down? Why, it's here, of course. It's right on the back. See the nothing here? Just kidding. It's this. This box of samurai dogs with the Hinomaru fan on it. This should never have existed. So I want you to all take a look at this red spot. It's a single drop of blood. Blood, you say? Agent Lang, I like this blood analyzed as post-haste. I've got to admit, I'm a bit surprised. I can't believe we found blood in a place like this. Hey you, get this down to the lab pronto. Blood! I know, right? It's blood. Yep, the red sun is blood. But why was there blood on that box to begin with? If we think about the flow of the crime, I think the reason will become obvious. Larry, you said that you transported the samurai dogs with the pushcart, correct? Oh, yeah, you have a great memory, Edgy. That pushcart was a bit too big for my son, you know what I mean? So to make sure everyone could see him, I had to pile some stuff in. I figured the samurai dogs were there, so I used them to fill up the cart. What Larry says is true, and what were the boxes doing on the floor? Ah, I see. The killer took them out in order to place the body in the pushcart. Exactly, and this is what I believe the victim's blood found its way onto the box. When my men investigated that room, not a single box of samurai dogs was in there, because the embassy staff members had already confiscated them. Yes, no doubt to hide the evidence of the murder. It's a good thing Miss Oldbag managed to steal that one box before they got to them, huh? Looks like Miss Oldbag also managed to put this great thief to shame. What a scandalous way of putting that. I didn't steal. I received it from myself. Quercus Alba, I'd say that this was one very fatal oversight on your part. Sorry to rain on your little love fest, however. How can he be so self-confident in a no-win situation for him like this? Even if that blood turns out to belong to Mr. Kochin, then what? Heh. So, Mr. Edgeworth, it sounds like he's not ready to call it quits yet, huh? The sole piece of evidence that was left at the scene of the crime, that alone has shed light on a new fact. At the very least, we now have proof that the murder occurred in the dressing room. And you say that like it means something. Huh? Excuse me, sirs. Report. What were the results of the analysis? Sir, the analysis came back and confirmed that the red substance is blood. I knew it. With this Quercus alba... Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might humor my question. Your question? The one from before, or have you forgotten? Even if that is Mr. Cochin's blood, what difference would it make? Like we already told you, it proves that the crime scene was in that dressing room. But it doesn't prove that I am your killer, does it? Gurk, that's... Nah, he has a very good point. The blood on that box doesn't prove that Mr. Alba is the killer. Then, this evidence is meaningless. That can't be. We were so close, sir. I want to smack that smug look off his face. Come on, there's gotta be something we can do. It was jam all along. It was jam. Oh my gosh. What? We finally found a solid piece of evidence. There must be something I can expose with it. I can't think of a single thing. Yeah. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Who was that? It's too late. I won't allow anyone to stop me now. It wasn't me, pal. And it wasn't me this time either. It wasn't me either. It was me! Why did you... because I haven't finished I haven't finished reporting everything to you yet, sir. There's more? What? Hurry up and spit it out. Yes, sir. That blood I mentioned, it's not of the same blood type as the victim's blood. What? No. What? What? What do you mean it's not the same type? You mean it's not the victim's blood? If it isn't his, then whose the hell's is it? I don't know, sir. All I know is that it's not the same blood type as the victim, sir. What should we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? I have no idea what's what anymore. Neither do I. My, what an amusing turn of events. That blood drop proves something to be true, all right. Namely, my words. Which one of your words would that be? The ones where I said that your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The blood has nothing to do with the murder investigation whatsoever. Need I remind you that the blood got onto that box long before it entered my embassy? What sort of nonsense? Yeah, it's blood, pal. There's no way it's not related to the murder. So you would like to believe. But what if someone preparing the samurai dogs had a small nosebleed? What then? Gurk, I guess that's possible. Damn it, have we been wasting our time on a red herring? The blood doesn't belong to anyone connected to the case. That should be clue enough. Quercus alba, you bastard! Silence! Don't you ever address me with such a filthy word again. Family-friendly stream. I've wasted enough time here with you, and you have your answers. Now let me through. Alba, it doesn't matter where you run off to, you'll never escape me. Someday I'll have the satisfaction of sinking my fangs into you. You'll see. And all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see to it that that day comes. Do you know what your words sound like to me? They sound like the whinings of a pathetic loser of a mutt. Arroo! Is this really the extent of all we can do? Is the blood really from someone completely unrelated to the case? Or is there some other possibility? Someone other than that? Someone other than the victim? Just when I thought I had him backed into a corner, it is I who has been backed into one. In a situation like this, what would that man do? What would he who can turn any desperate situation around do? I wonder who he's talking about there, guys. Turn it around. That's it. I must turn my way of thinking around. It's not whose blood is this. It's whose blood could get onto a box like this. And if I think about it that way, if the blood got onto the box where the body was being placed into the pushcart, then the owner of said blood must have been in the dressing room at the time. I'll tell you what, he'd do edgy stuff, bluff and run with it. That's what he would do. And there's only one person that could be. Well, I must praise you for trying so hard. It's because of you kids that I was removed from center stage, and will be forced to live out the rest of my life in the shadows, unfortunately. But it's not a total loss, as the underworld will allow me more freedom than you'll ever know. Freedom like what the raven feels like as it flies through the dark night sky. You can't lay a finger on me, not now or ever. The arm of the law is powerless before me. Heh heh heh. Powerless, is it? I wouldn't be so sure about that if I were you. What do you mean? Allow me to describe you in one word. Pitiful. Pitiful? How so? Quercus alba, your wings were clipped long ago. And for someone who is trying to fly away on them without noticing that fact, pitiful is the perfect word to describe you. Ha, mere words. What do you mean by his wings are clipped, Mr. Edgeworth? Just what you think it means, Kay. We had already caught him in our trap a while back, with an incredibly powerful definitive piece of evidence. Hey, that's Mr. Prosecutor. Good to speak in English? What are you talking about? What piece of evidence? The piece that I speak of is, of course, this drop of blood. But we know that it's not from the victim. I don't see how it remains relevant to the case at all. Miss Von Karma, I believe that is exactly why it's very important to this case. And the part that is the most important is the fact that it's not the victim's blood. You're looking a little pale. Good, then I believe you are already aware of what I mean. Then you know who the blood belongs to? Of course I do. This piece of evidence is the irrefutable proof that will stop the killer in his tracks. The blood that soiled this box of samurai dogs belongs to this person. It's none other than you.
Take that!
The blood of the red sun on this box belongs to you, Quercus alba. Grrr. What? What? Why is his blood on the box of samurai dogs? He's not even a victim. The blood fell onto the box when Mr. Cochin's body was being loaded into the pushcart. At the time, the only two people in the dressing room were the victim and his killer. So that's what you mean, that the blood doesn't belong to the victim. Then there is only one other person it could belong to. Yes, and that person is the murderer himself. That's the only logical conclusion. But Mr. Cochin was the one who was stabbed, sir. Why would Mr. Alba have been the one who was bleeding? What if during the murder, Mr. Cochin had fought back? You mean if before Mr. Alba could kill him, Mr. Cochin managed to wound Mr. Alba? Yes, and I believe we have a piece of evidence that proves that he was bleeding then. What is the piece of evidence that shows that Mr. Alba was properly bleeding at the time? It was the wound!
Take that!
Mr. Alba, you bear on your body a great wound. That was from when when Damas attacked me with a pair of scissors. Yeah, and that happened way after he was in the dressing room. Ah, but is that really what happened? You can manufacture a weapon by smearing blood on it, so I can't just accept that as fact. Shall we try a test, Mr. Alba, and see if the shape of your wound matches the scissors? You really are something else, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't let a single thing slip you by, no matter how insignificant the possibility. You're one to talk, Mr. Alba. You've managed to give the law the slip for 10 years as the smuggling ring's leader. No matter the danger, you can hide every last ounce of fear and anxiety from everyone. You truly are a one-of-a-kind criminal. I am the master of my fear. However, to think that a person such as you could miss such a large thing. You believe I'm overlooked something? You said that my wound was caused by Mr. Cochin, and that it was caused here in one of the theater's dressing rooms, right? Yes, that is correct. I'd like to point out that it's simply not possible. My wound is a stab wound and one that could only have come from a blade. I wonder where you would propose that such a weapon came from. This theater was packed with security guards. It would have been impossible for anyone to come into this area with a weapon of any sort. Just as Mr. Alba was able to bring in the Alabastrian knife in a bouquet, There must have been some other way to sneak in a weapon of some sort. But as long as you can't prove what that other way is, all your talk about Mr. Cochin stabbing me is pure nonsense. So if that other way doesn't exist, then you'd better hurry and tell me now. With pleasure. Wait, what? This piece of evidence shows how Mr. Cochin brought a weapon into this theater. It is the prosecutor's bat. No, it's the Yatagarasu's key.
Take that!
Give me a second, guys. Okay. Among law enforcement, this piece is known as the Yatagarasu's key. That key! That's the key that my father stole from here 7 years ago. And it is very unique in the fact that it is both a key and a knife. Meaning that under the guise of a key, it could have been easily brought into the theater. Grrrr! You couldn't dispose of the knife that stabbed you. Therefore, you wiped off the blood and placed it back in Mr. Cochin's pocket. After all, the key itself opened the safe in his office. And inside that safe, it was a document about Skodopian paper signed by Mr. Cochin. In order to make it look like Mr. Cochin died as the leader of the smuggling ring, you had to make it so that the police were the ones who opened that office safe. All that hard work to save yourself only served to destroy you in the end. Shall we try matching this knife's blade with your wound, Mr. Quercus Alba? And that is what some may call the coup de grace. Impossible! You can't take me down. Swine, all of you! Especially Manny Cochin. This is all because of that man's betrayal. He sought to steal control of the smuggling ring from me by removing me as ambassador, which is why he deserved to die while bearing the guilt for all of my crimes for me. That's why I sent out the Yatagarasu's card and how this incident was born. Manny was supposed to be the smuggler ring's leader who was killed by the Yatagarasu, but I had yet another reason, another story that was supposed to play out. Manny's death was supposed to bring everything to a close, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling prosecutors. I love how Scooby-Doo is such a big influence in this game. Mr. Alba, I'm afraid there is one more question I forgot to ask. This country's or Alabas, which country's court would you like to face first? Either way, it's game over for you. Edgeworth! Ah! That's the end of that, guys. Meanwhile... Woo! This is it, the big day. It's Mr. Alba's trial today. And next week, he's scheduled to stand in trial in his own country of Alabast. Franziska is heading that one, and I suspect she'll be serving a full course of whiplashes at it. Again, is she allowed to do that? I don't think she's allowed to do that. I think it's worth it, though. Oh, by the way, guys, where would Quercus Alba be on the kill this man list? Where would he be at? Having to face Miss Von Karma in court right after facing you, sir? Shudder. I don't even want to think of what that would be like. I caught a glimpse of Mr. Alba as he was being escorted into the courthouse. And boy, he looked about as glum as I do the day before I get my monthly paycheck. You know, I've been thinking. That flight attendant and even Mr. Portsman were all of Mr. Alba's secret agents. Correct. That smuggling ring was the common thread between all of the incidents. Cammy Mealy was to provide support during smuggling ops and using her job as an attendant. And Mr. Portsman was to manipulate trials related to the ring to end in their favor. Hi, he's a prick and a criminal. I reckon if the jackass from the beginning of Persona 5 is a 10, he's an 8. He's also a smuggling ring leader, too. So he's probably had many, many people killed. But yeah, he's up there. Definitely for sure. Oh, you go you airlines and even the prosecutor's office. No one was safe from the smuggling ring, huh, sir? I suspect there are even more members of this ring spread throughout the world. Yeah, sounds like such a big op that I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What is it, detective? Nothing. It's just, well, come to think of it, Mr. Ernest Amano's trial is also scheduled for later today, sir. I'm aware of that. Mr. Amano has been working with the smuggling ring now for over 10 years. He used the Amano Group's various connections worldwide to assist the ring, but all of that has come to an end as his conglomerate is now undergoing harsh scrutiny. I owe Mr. Amano a debt of gratitude, but he must pay his debt to society. Well, with the arrest of both Mr. Alba and Mr. Amano, I guess that about wraps up the KG incident as well, huh? I suppose so. The real killer in the KG incident 10 years ago was Manny Cochin. And 7 years ago, the killer in the second KG incident was Macrell. Those two facts are the unshakable truth. However, it seems that a lot of effort was put into hiding these and other truths from us, and I will expose it all at the trials today. You're solving cases left and right today, aren't you, sir? CCU and Dave Man. Perhaps now those two brave souls who tried to make the truth known can rest in peace. By the way, I received some gifts from Ambassador Paleno. Shrimp, crab, beef, I don't need any of these, so I'm giving them to you. What? Seriously, sir? Wait, actually, I don't think I want them anymore. The way you're holding them? Don't tell me they're just coupons, sir. Detective Gumshoe, have you not read the paper recently? Ever since the two countries became Cadopia again, its economy has changed. Really? And it seems that Ambassador Paleno has reaped a few benefits of his own from it. He has been announced as the official ambassador of the newly reunified Cadopia. Ah, but what a pity. Even though every item he sent is a treasure, you don't seem at all that interested. Well, if you don't want them, I can give them to my lovely assistant Kay. Well, wait, that's not what I said. So, Mr. Edgeworth, please let me have them, sir. Actually, come to think of it, where is Kay? How come she's still not here? Kay, you gotta be more alert than that. Eek! I can't believe you didn't notice. I was even mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice for a bit. I totally didn't notice you or realize the voice was you. Langzy says, ferocious love blooms with each new spring. Agent Lang, a pleasant surprise to see you here. It's been a long time since I set foot in the courthouse, but I wasn't going to miss watching the guy who screwed up my country finally get what's coming to him. Well, that and something else. I want to see you in action in court. Is that so, Agent Lang? We flushed out all of the counterfeit bills, so Zhangfa is finally at peace again. Hey, Blue Thunder! How you doing today? What's up? And it's all thanks to you, so I just want to say, thanks. Wow, never thought I'd see the day old Wolfie says thanks to Mr. Edgeworth. I should be the one thanking you, Agent Lang. If you hadn't negated Mr. Alba's extraterritorial rights, I would not have been able to bring him to trial. I believe the victory belongs to the both of us in this case. Tch, a shared victory, huh? Look, don't get me wrong, I'll still never forgive you, prosecutors, and I have zero interest in that truth thing you talk about in court. You're okay? How are you doing? I'm good. I'm about to beat the game, Blue Thunder. I'm seconds away from beating game. I've always done things my own way, and that's not about to change. You got that? I see. Well, I believe you should follow your own creed when you do your job. Yeah, and if there's ever someone your precious truth can't catch, feel free to sit around and cry about it all you want. But as for me, I'm going to get to that person no matter what. Heh, alright. It's about time for the trial to start. I will see you later. I'll be watching your performance from the gallery. I'm looking forward to this. I've prepared a whole ton of ticker tape for today's victory, sir. I'll throw some around when Mr. Edgeworth wins. Ha ha ha. Hope you've got enough, because I'm going to go call my men up as well. A modest amount of ticker tape goes a long way. It is awesome. I know. Asham. The scene shifts to the courtroom, and the final act of the long tale begins. The legend of the great thief Yatagarasu. It's the story of those who chose to dedicate their lives to the pursuit of truth. Prosecutors are those who seek a guilty verdict for the defendants they meet, and to that end you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That creed was forced onto me when I was very young, however I no longer think that is all we prosecutors are. That's because... No defense attorney. Even though I've only been away from the courtroom for a short time, I feel as though it's been a lifetime since I've set foot in one. And today more than any other day, I feel the fight within me rising.
Objection!
And there we have it, guys. The first game is done. What'd you think? Did you like it? It's fun. Very, very different from the original series. I'm really in Mr. Edgeworth's debt for the other day. Thanks to him, I'm still free to serve in the friendly blue skies. Oh, so about my suitcases. I have been selling them on the internet, and they've been a real sensation. Thanks to the praise the art world has lavished on my work as being truly postmodern. The airline has chosen me to design their new line of SCO-U jumbo jets. Just think, someday you will be able to take a ride in my pink wall yellow-seated jet. What a strange twist. I know, right? It was fun, though. The series was quite an interesting take. And maybe someday we'll see another one like it. Who knows? Edgeworth, that rudeness of a rude man. Because of him, my time and money is wasted. But more importantly, I received the most fantastic treasure recently, a Primaduck statue of the Principality of Codopia. It weighs a bit light in my hands, but the Ambassador Pelena was most generous. That guy got a fake statue. Yeah, it was good. Let's just say that it was a good time. We finally caught Agent X's killer, and I was able to witness Mr. Alba's teary eyes. It feels good to finally bring everything to a close. I received another offer from Interpol to work another case in cooperation with them. However, the Codopian court awaits. Codopia's air is supposed to be very fresh, so my whip could find new vigor there. It brought back some old people that we haven't seen in a long time. It was fun. Fun time. Brought back Officer Meekins for a spell. This little patrolman has been fired as of today, sir. I thought I was safe since we found the gun I had dropped. But I hadn't noticed that I had dropped my police badge, too. I guess what really broke the camel's back was that I couldn't find my badge. My little life has suddenly tripped into a dark black hole, sir. I think I'll go to the courthouse and file a complaint with Ruffles Man. Good luck with that. Oh, man. When did this game come out? This, Ace Investigations game? Oh, hi, Emma. It was good to see you here in this world again. I was actually hoping to talk with Mr. Edgeworth a bit more than I did. But I've got to get going and return to Europe. I've still got a long way to go and a lot of stuff to study there. Next time I'll help Mr. Edgeworth on the case, I'm going to do it as a real forensic scientist. I'm sure he's going to need all the help I can give him, scientifically. How did this game compare to the original series, by the way? Did you like it better? Worser? Let me know. Aww, it's Lauren. Because the kidnapping was staged, I was let off easy. But I won't be going outside much anytime soon, but that's really okay. The only prison I'm forever trapped in is the cage of love. The guard down at the detention center, well, when he's on guard duty, he has such a cold look in his eyes, just like that prosecutor. Badump. Ah, stop it, Lauren. When will you ever learn to stop being a prisoner of love? Kinda don't think it's as much fun as the original trilogy. Yeah, maybe not. still fun though. Was the story, like, good at least? Did you, enjoy story? It appears there are lots of sorts of drama that takes place outside of the courtroom. Since we judges are here day in and out, I hope I only heard a few rumors, but apparently Mr. Edgeworth was teamed up with the thief and became a detective. Maybe I should team up with a bailiff and try to become a lawyer or something. Having the whole thing lean along a singular plot is for the best. Yeah. Oh, there's Maggie. Maggie was here too. Whew, I barely escaped death yet again. Yeah, but boy, we were lucky to have Mr. Edgeworth help us out, huh? Yeah, but because I lost the key, I got fired from my security guard job. Don't let it get you down, Maggie. You still got me. You're right, sir. I won't be sad. I'm going to pick myself up and get through this. I wonder what my next job should be. Oh, this is actually kind of fun. Oh, Maggie. Oh, Maggie, Maggie. Whew. Why not come to Cadopia for your summer vacation? We have coupons aplenty. Right now, our embassy is proud to present our Let's Investigate a Murder show. Although recreating that particular case has created a few small fires of its own, and we had a few problems with the fire marshals, but the next event will be great. It will be an attraction entitled Capture the Yatagarasu. Of course, I hope to enlist Kay's help in creating our latest attraction. Oh man, the same old... I love the way these credits are done too, in all the Ace Attorney games. You get little updates like this. Oh god, Larry. I can't believe that Mindy ditched me and went to Japan. But it's okay, because that's how I met Miharu. We're planning to go to Paris soon and start a business. We're going to sell blue ocean dogs. They'll sell like hotcake hot dogs for sure. A blue hot dog and a blue bun, I guarantee it'll turn your tongue and your face blue. No, I'm not really the type to work a lot, or at all really, but... Oh, so I noticed that I really haven't seen that guy in the blue suit at all recently. Wonder what's up? Well, the next time we meet, I'm gonna make him eat one of my dogs. Ha 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 ha. He's having a rough time, I imagine. Or at least he will soon be having a very, very rough time. Bad or Lang. I gave testimony in court today as a member of the Yatagarasu. Yo, Mr. Bad, you look well, all things considered. By the way, have you noticed that elements within the ring have begun moving? They're probably fighting over who should succeed, over who should be the next boss. Although, to be honest, I wish I could forget I'd ever heard of that smuggling ring. Langzi says, thoroughly bite the poisonous snake from head to tail. No one runs afoul of the law and escapes this wolf's fangs. I'll get you all yet. Ah, youth. When did I become so old, I wonder? I've begun noticing the gray hairs in my beard more. I'm thinking of retiring my mirror. Just your mirror, not retiring yourself. Anyone else? Yeah. Can't forget about her. I was the Pink Princess and the Pink Badger all in the span of 2 days. Talk about busy. But it's alright, because I got a letter from my beloved Edgy Poo. Please take care of your hip, and when you wish to speak, first take off your headpiece. What did he mean by that last statement? It's not like I enjoy being under a headpiece every time I see him. I've been an alien, then some creepy fuzzy pink animal, and then I was a pink princess, great hero of justice, and me and I wearing a stylish hat in my head, a costume or something. It's a terrible idea. Oh, old bag. But wait, there's more. Whoop! I feel so much better now that the trial's over. And as always, your legal prowess was top-notch, sir. Yeah, and nothing beat the look on Mr. Alba's face when you revealed the ring's secrets. I was amazed. You're like a totally different person when you step into a courtroom. Mr. Edgeworth is always 10 times fiercer in court. Based on the information Mr. Alba offered up, they've begun large-scale operations to clean up the rest of the ring, which I'm happy to leave to Franziska and Agent Ling. So what are your plans now, Kay? Oh well, we've taken care of the creep who killed my father, so I'm not sure. Hey, I know. Maybe I'll just keep on being Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Are you still trying to steal my job, pal? Just kidding, just kidding. I can't steal something so important to you, Gummy. Phew, what a relief. Okay. Yes? Even after all that's happened, are you still planning to become a great thief? Of course. But I don't want to tarnish the legend of the noble Yetagarasu, so I'm going to hold off on doing anything until I make a tight three-person team of my own. A three-person team? A three-person team of young beauties the same age as me, if possible. With those criteria, I highly doubt you'll find the 2 other people you need. My father chose to fight for the truth. I think that's what was so noble about him. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, the only things I will ever steal are the truths that have been hidden away. I'm going to work extra hard to make a world where the Yetagarasu isn't needed. Let's both strive for such a future. Well, I guess it's time for me to get going. I see. Okay, keep your chin up and stay strong, okay? And don't be a stranger. Don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be sure to break the locks on the windows and sneak in. If you could, I'd appreciate it if you came in through the building's front door. It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. The lock on my window at home has been broken for forever. Oh, one last thing before I go. Let's take a group picture, just the 3 of us. Yeah, commemorative photo. Every big case has to end with one. No. Hey, why not? Don't tell me you're camera shy, Mr. Edgeworth. Of course not, Detective. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm taking the picture now. Hey, come here. Come back here. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't run away from this, sir. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Stop that. I can't be seen doing that. Okay, I'm totally taking it now. Say cheese! And thus the long tale of the KG incident came to a close. It saw the demise of a smuggling ring and the birth of a little great thief. But there's little time to rest and relax, for I am eager to tackle the investigation into a new case. The reason for my eagerness is my want to pursue the truth, and my want to believe in the strength of those who use the power of the law for good. And as someone who has chosen to live my life as a prosecutor, that is my new creed. Ain't that nice? Let's see what happens now. Save. Autosave. New items unlocked in the gallery. Yay! Real quick, guys, I want to look in the gallery just to see what's there. We got accolades, photo album, and character compendium. Yep, I did these 2. This and that. Yay. For the photo album, everything here is done. Yay. All of these pictures that we can view. All of them pictures. Including this epic one. And Gumshoe and this guy and this photo. And finally, the character compendium. Here we go. Everyone here is here now. I like this. I like that it shows every single person. Very cool. Shows past people. Not only does it show past people. Oh look, cameraman. Master Mask. And Missile! It also shows the confrontation stuff too. Like Mr. Alba here. Ah! I gotta say the breakouts in this game have been quite fun. Very, very, very fun. Apparently they had to redraw every sprite in the game to actually make them look up to snuff. That's awesome. And they did a good job too, I think. What do you guys think? Did good? Because I think it did good. Well guys, the next time I stream this game, it does look good, it does. The next time I stream this game, it's gonna be something. I will be venturing into a new territory for sure. I will be starting Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Gambit. Like I said, I've never played this game before, I've never seen it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Will I use a guide? I'm gonna try not to, but if I have to, then oh well. Help where you can, but you're not gonna be around for everything. It's fine. If I gotta use a guide, then I have to, but I'll try not to. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. I've waited around 11 years to play this game, and in a couple more days, I will finally get to. Nothing can stop me now unless, like, the game breaks or something. Alright, take care guys, it's late. I'm going to bed. Have a good one. Ever heard of any of the Ace Attorney games? Oh, you should see them, Blue Thunder, they're good. But I'm rambling. Take care guys. Love you all. I will see all of you tomorrow for some multiplayers. Bye-bye!